In 2016, Adele Conley of Louisville, Kentucky, was preparing to celebrate New Year's Eve when a fire broke out in his neighbor's garage, spread to his house, and forced him to flee. Unfortunately, in his effort to escape the blaze, Adele left his 2 dogs behind in the house. Firefighters were quickly able to retrieve one of them, but they informed Adele that his other pooch likely didn't make it. Adele was absolutely devastated. Later that night, though, as firefighters sifted through the scorched remnants of the home, they discovered something no one would be prepared to see. Louisville, Kentucky, resident Adele Conley was terrified when a fire started in his neighbor's garage and spread to his own. Panicked after finding himself in an emergency situation, he quickly fled his house as the fire department arrived to put out the blaze. Once out of harm's way, Adele quickly realized that he'd left both of his dogs behind. But when he tried to return to save them, the firefighters stopped him. It was simply far too dangerous for him to re-enter. Shortly thereafter, a fireman emerged from the premises carrying one of his dogs. Adele was elated, until he was told that there was no sign of the second pooch, and that it was highly unlikely the animal could have survived the incredibly dangerous fire. Adele considered his 2 dogs to be his best friends, and he had a hard time accepting that he wasn't allowed to go into his home to retrieve the other one. "I wanted to get my dogs out, but they wouldn't let me go in there," he recalled in an interview. "I love my dogs." The firefighters worked tirelessly into the night sifting through the still smoldering remains of Adele's home. Nearly everything had burned to a crisp. As they continued to clean up the debris, their chances of discovering the other dogs seemed to diminish by the minute. Lieutenant Colonel Jim Frederick of the Louisville Fire Department spoke about the fire at Adele's home. "With the amount of fire we had and the amount you can see, just the amount of materials in the garage, it's not really easily accessible for us. It seemed that all hope was lost at that point." A news team had just arrived and was reporting on the fire when, following hours of searching through the burned rubble, they heard a noise coming from inside of the still standing parts of the home. Right away, a group of firefighters rushed to where they heard the noise. Was it Adele's other dog? If so, they presumed he would have been badly injured and near death. But when they looked, not only was it the dog, but he was completely unharmed. Needless to say, Adele was thrilled with the firefighters' discovery, and though the fire was devastating, he was relieved that he and both of his beloved dogs managed to escape the blaze no worse for wear. Talk about a miracle. Thankfully, Adele never gave up hope of finding his second beloved dog. If they hadn't worked through the night, there's a chance that he might not have survived at all. Now, they could move forward stronger than before following this horrific tragedy. What an incredible turn of events. It must have been such a relief for Adele to realize his dog had survived. Share this story with your friends.